This is the last Sunday of the month, and it's just before Thanksgiving. And so, thankful hearts does seem to be an appropriate focus for us today, doesn't it? There's one of our beloved members often is speaking to people in different countries. And she told us recently that she was speaking with someone in another country who doesn't know about Thanksgiving, and who said, when she spoke about the Thanksgiving holidays coming up, the person she was speaking with said, "You have an entire day that you focus on Thanksgiving? Well, that's wonderful." And I love that too. In fact, wouldn't it be just absolutely delightful if we focused on Thanksgiving every single moment of every single day, for all the people in our lives, for all the gifts that are ours? Ernest Holmes said, "If we wish to come to the Spirit for the healing of our wounds, let us come in peace and with spontaneous joy. For the Spirit is joy. Let us come with thanksgiving also, for a thankful heart is in harmony with life." That's a wonderful statement. A thankful heart is in harmony with life. If we feel out of harmony, if we have experiences, challenges in our lives that aren't pleasant and make us wonder sometimes how we're going to deal with them, we may be a little out of harmony with the divine harmony, which underlies everything until we remember, we reawaken. There is always something for which to give thanks. I learned a long time ago that if I drop my toast on the floor, jelly side down, it's an opportunity for me to say, "Thank you!" Because it shifts my consciousness immediately. I don't let anything spoil my day. I want to make sure that I'm celebrating life, and I'm not going to move into any energy that would not be in harmony with the underlying universal energy. And I always laugh a little bit when I do things like that. It helps. In all things give thanks, we're told. And I love to do that. It's a wonderful spiritual practice. My teacher, Earl Barnum, lovingly referred to as Barney, would teach us very important practical lessons like, if you go out tomorrow morning and you find that your car has not one, not two, not three, but 4 flat tires, can you give thanks for that? And I thought, well, that's an extreme example, but I'll try. And then I heard about a young woman who had a flat tire in a rather inhospitable place, and yet she called AAA, and they came to take care of her, and she was grateful. She started out realizing that Thanksgiving was a good way to begin, and she did give thanks for the flat tire. She gave thanks even later when she found out that she was attracted to the tow truck driver, and they wound up having a date. In all things, give thanks. You just never know how these things are going to turn out. So the heart filled with gratitude is God-infused, and it's ever opening to greater and greater expression of good. Centuries ago, the Roman Cicero said, "A thankful heart is not only the greatest virtue, but it is the parent of all virtues." Well, gratitude is more than a virtue. It's a powerful practice. And we know that the word appreciation means what? To grow in value. Have you noticed that when you appreciate the people in your life, that your relationships grow in value too? We have people who have relatives here visiting from out of state. How lovely always to see family coming. It's a wonderful time, Thanksgiving, and it's an opportunity for us to praise and bless and raise the people in our lives that we adore, and praise and bless and people in our lives that we might have a little trouble with. And no, I'm not going to ask for any raise of hands. We're gathering with our friends and family this week, right? It's an opportunity to look at a person and see how precious they are. To look beyond the wonderful human being and see the magnificent spiritual being within that human being. To appreciate, to celebrate. And your relationships deepen and grow. And especially when we remember that we're all rooted in spirit. There isn't anybody, I mean, we're all the children of God, every single one of us, and there isn't anybody who didn't spring from that life stream of the divine. That's the foundation of all life. We're all related, every single one of us. And it's a wonderful awareness that we are. So we appreciate each other and the relationships grow. We appreciate our work and it becomes more joyful and more successful. We appreciate our home and it becomes more beautiful and more loving and more welcoming. Everything we appreciate increases in value. And it is, you have heard this expression for years, I'm sure, the attitude of gratitude. And put some altitude in your attitude. And this attitude of gratitude is powerful. It opens us up to the good in everything. I am grateful for the authentic spirituality that is the basis of our lives. I am grateful that I can remember that I am more than one person, that I am an expression of the divine. And I'm grateful that I can look at everybody in my life and see the authentic self that you are, that each of us is, and remember the deep connection that we have. And it makes all the communication so sweet. Yesterday, Better Angels had another wonderful meeting here. What a great opportunity for people of various political views to come together in mutual respect and a real desire and intention to listen to each other with respect and interest, curiosity rather than criticism, open-heartedness rather than blindfoldedness. Is that a word? It is now. We honor and welcome every opportunity to find common ground, yes? I'm so thankful that we have those opportunities. Spirituality is our foundation. And we live purposefully, meaningfully, creatively, and compassionately from that ground of being. Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever pray is thank you in your whole life, that would be sufficient. That would suffice, I think he said. If the only prayer we ever pray is thank you, that's enough. We don't need more than that. But we do need it to be authentic and sincere. Not thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. The bottom, the top, the sides, the whole thing. That's real. That is powerful, and it is practical because it changes the very environment in which we live. I'm thankful for so much. I'm thankful for beautiful Pennsylvania. Who knew all those years I was born and raised and grew up and worked and played and loved and laughed and went through all kinds of interesting things in California that I would be standing anywhere saying, I love that I live in Pennsylvania. It's beautiful. Every now and then, you know, especially when the lady in the phone knows that something's happening on the Schuylkill and we shouldn't take that, and she takes us the most interesting ways. Oh, they're beautiful little side roads, and we see horses, and we see beautiful mansions, and we see trees that are reaching across that lane to try to embrace each other. And Reverend Mike and I go, oh, so thankful, so beautiful. I'm thankful for the seasons. It felt really wintry when we came this morning, didn't it? Not even Thanksgiving yet. It feels wintry and we're going, we're dressed for it. We love it. Is it going to snow today? No, but when it does, we will love that too. Especially since where we live, they clean things up for us. In the rest of the year, they mow the lawns and rake, and they trim everything, and they plant new things, and it's beautiful. And in snow season, all we have to shovel is our own car. Everything else is handled, and that's another thing that I'm deeply appreciative of. But I love this area. I love the sweet roads. I love the history. And whenever people come to visit, isn't it fun to take people places and say, look, this is where, in fact, where Dr. Tom and Nana live, we found out George Washington actually did sleep there. Right, Nana? Actually did. Got proof positive. Here in Malvern. George Washington slept in Malvern. And many of us do. I'm grateful for the Eagles. I'm grateful for the Phillies. I'm grateful for the awesome view we have from our 4th-story apartment. We get to see all the seasons change. You have things for which you're grateful in your own environment, right? The squirrels on your deck. You have them too. We all have squirrely decks. I don't know. I'm so grateful for my family. I'm so grateful for my extended family. I'm grateful for my neighbors, and I'm so grateful for this beloved community. More than anything, I'm grateful for our philosophy. I'm grateful that we teach the oneness of all life. I'm so grateful that we admire and celebrate diversity in multiplicity and unity. I'm so grateful that we have an opportunity to be there for each other. I'm grateful that we offer programs that help people live better lives. I'm grateful for our founder, Ernest Holmes. I'm deeply grateful for the divine life stirring within me all the time, feeling the living waters of spirit flowing, allowing myself to be directed and guided to that which is for my highest good. And my intention is that it is always for the highest good of everybody in my life and in my world. I'm so grateful that we have this divine principle that we learn about, that our thoughts do create our realities, and that the more positive and uplifting and conscious and caring and compassionate our thoughts are, the more beautiful our lives become, and the more successful we are in relationship, in our work, in our creative expression, in our finances, in our health and radiant wholeness. The more we elevate our thoughts, the more beautifully our lives are in expression. And I'm so grateful that there's a law of cause and effect that is absolutely reliable. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's wonderful that we have the beautiful master teacher, Jesus, to emulate, to remember that he said, the things I do, ye shall do, and even greater than these. Because we all have the same source. And this source is infinite, and it is loving, and it embraces us all the time, and I'm so grateful for it. We live fully and freely when we come from this place within ourselves that reminds us of who we truly are. We live in fullness. We live in freedom. That's how we were designed to live. We were designed to be the leaders in our own lives. And I know that the best leaders are also the most effective followers. I want to follow the divine guidance within me, don't you? Don't you find when you do, when you stop, if you have a decision to make, don't you find that when you stop and ask the infinite wisdom within you to guide you, that it always leads you correctly? And have you ever noticed when you don't listen, it doesn't work out maybe quite so well? That's called learning a lesson, and we need to do that in our lives too. But let's move more toward listening to begin with. And when we do, we're never, ever disappointed. And I'm so thankful that we model this principled leadership to everyone we encounter. And people are lifted simply by your presence. We walk into a room, and we walk in knowing that not only we, but every beloved within that room is part of this holy life. And there's something unspoken and yet very profound, very clear when we walk in knowing who we are, that people pick up on, they understand, they remember. Don't you like the idea of helping people remember who they are? It's delicious. And we live lightly. You know, this isn't such serious stuff. And you know my motto, everything is sacred and nothing is serious. Because that stuff is going to change. There's the unchangeable, the infinite life of God itself. And then there's everything that shows up in the world that comes to move on so that there can be new creation take place. And it came to pass. And it came to pass. Didn't come to stay. So we know that we can take things lightly. Nothing is going to last that doesn't involve the life and the love and the power and the peace of God itself. And it is leading us into ever-increasing good as we allow it to. It's the presence of the divine within each of us that does everything wonderful through us when we let it. And oh, I'm so grateful for that. So won't you join me in living each moment from this sense of gratitude, the attitude of gratitude, the divine appreciation of letting things become richer and more beautiful with a thankful, thankful heart. Yes? Will you say with me, I'm deeply grateful for my wonderful life, for my spiritual foundation, which shows me the way to wisdom and joy. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson.